Hello, beginning programming. I am sorry I cannot be in school today. I am sick. We're going to be making a little shooter game today. This isn't quite the finished product, but it gives you an idea. We have a little character that kind of moves around with the keys. I'm using the old WASD keys. And then wherever the mouse goes, you can shoot. Pew, pew, pew. We'll be shooting little bullets. Eventually, we'll throw in some, like, I'll call them zombies, but some kind of bad guy that will be ready to fight you. And you will die if you get touched by them. I'll give you an overview of the game, which you're going to make, and then I'm going to show you a little bit more of how to improve it. So we got our pew pew game, I think is what I'm going to be calling it. I got some colors, and we're going to use the keyboard, so we're going to get those Boolean keys back in. Don't forget about the lovely key pressed and key released functions that we all know how to do, or at least you used to know how to do. Uh, and they're just assigning true and false to the key values, and we'll use those in the other classes to control the character. I am making a hero class, which I'll show you in a minute. My hero will be the name of the hero object that you saw walking around. And then I have an array list of bullets. And if this is starting to look familiar, then that's fantastic because that's sort of what we've been doing, making array lists. So in our setup, good old, I guess I have a reasonably large screen size. And then I have a hero created and my bullet list created. In my draw function, it's basically this is background purple. I'm playing around with some effects to make it look a little bit fancier, but nothing too exciting there. And then here's our loop that goes and makes all the bullets act. Here's my hero being told to show an act. If this looks pretty familiar, woo woo, you're doing it right, because that's basically what we've been doing for a month. So if it's not looking familiar, though, don't feel bad. Just start looking deeper and asking questions. Obviously, I'm not here today, but bring those questions to hopefully next class when I'll be healthy again. We'll look in the hero class. Hero is got, your pretty basic things. I'm not using speed yet, but you know what X, Y, and D are. Your position and your diameter for your size. Speed will be used later on. Or actually, I guess I am using speed. Never mind. I made it a variable because maybe it'll change. Maybe it'll get slowed down or something. Or sped up. You have a dash mechanic or something. I just start the hero in the middle of the screen. I choose an arbitrary number for the diameter and an arbitrary number for speed. And then it's a circle. Well, it's a circle here. I drew this like targeting line with stroke weight 0 so you can see where you're aiming. Basically, you aim with the mouse is how that's going to work. Boop, boop. Whoops, should probably turn that off. Oh well, hopefully it doesn't become a distraction. Hey, my act function is just walk when I press the WASD keys. So just kind of move your X and Y position. So you can kind of get the feel for that just by looking at this. You can see it's moving around nice and smoothly. I don't know if you on the video you can see the line that's moving around because I made it fairly thin, but that's just kind of following where the mouse is. All right, so that's that class. That's not much different than other things we've been doing. So hopefully, other than adding in the key press stuff, it's pretty much vanilla object-oriented programming. Hey, let's go see the bullet class. This is going to change actually. So you're going to see my current bullet class. It will not stay the same because there's a problem with it. Shout out to Sharon, who we were talking last class about this, and actually to Mark as well, who inspired me for this project idea by showing me a similar project. This system is basically going to have your usual position, diameter, and then Vx and Vy. And if you use Vx and Vy the way we've been calculating it, then it's going to suck, and I'll show you why. First of all, bullets start at the hero, because the hero is shooting the bullets. And I, again, choose an arbitrary number for the diameter. Here's how we usually do Vx and Vy. If we're bouncing off of a ball or a paddle or something like that. Here's why that sucks. This is, this will get us the right direction, but it cannot be divorced from the distance. So, for example, if I hold the mouse close to the character and fire, it fires a bullet at that speed. But if I move it far away, it fires it much faster. And although I could see a game where you could choose like a dodgeball game where you could loft a little a few slow balls, and then like blast some like fastballs or something. That's not really a gun. I don't know about too many guns where you can like select the speed of the bullet and have this like slow motion bullet you can like actually outrun, and then like shoot fast bullets when they're far away. It just doesn't work that way. So how the heck can we like separate this from it gets the right direction, but the speed is like somehow blocked into this. So the answer is basically using something called a p-vector. This is gonna change things dramatically. P-vectors basically allow us to do trigonometry without doing trigonometry, and I know most of you have not done trigonometry yet. So it's like this toolbox of trigonometry, where we can just learn some functions and go for it. I would love to do the trigonometry with you, and we'll probably do it in Programming 12, but not going to do it right now because we got p-vectors. You can make a p-vector. I'm going to call it direction, and it's going to basically be this math here. I should just mention a p-vector is basically, it has an x component and a y component. So when you make a new p-vector, so for example, you could go 10, 30, and its x component would be 10, and its y component would be 30. And you can access them with like direction.x and direction.y. So that is the basics of p-vectors right there. But I'm actually going to do some calculations in here. I'm going to do this calculation, bloop, and this calculation, bloop, and get a p-vector that represents sort of that difference of the y positions. And then there's this magnificent thing you can do. You can say direction.setMag, which stands for magnitude, which means how fast do you want it to be going. We can use the difference of the x and y coordinates to choose the direction, and then we can just say, you know what, that line, we're going to make it 5 long, or 10 long, or whatever number we want. And then this direction will be correct, and it will be sent off at that speed. And then we can just set Vx to direction.x, and we can set Vy to direction.y. So if I run this, check this out. Look, I'm no matter where my mouse goes, the bullets go off at the speed of 10. The direction is still being chosen with the mouse, right? But the speed is being set. And it turns out it's trigonometry that makes this happen, and trigonometry is a beautiful thing that we'll investigate probably in grade, well, it's usually grade 11 students take Programming 12, so grade 11, well, you take Programming 12, and I think that'll be really exciting. In the meantime, our bullets are working pretty well. I forgot to show you something, though. I forgot to show you this little nugget. Look down here. This is actually what makes them shoot. I'm using mouse pressed. Whoop, whoop. Mouse pressed allows me to click the mouse and detect that clicking, and then all I just do is add a bullet to the list. And of course, my good old while loop suddenly kicks into play, and then it makes it go. So I got one more improvement to make on the bullet class, and that is like if we keep firing bullets, we'll just get like hundreds of bullets that are just like flying up. They're going up into the sky, or going north or south or whatever. Like they're still being tracked even though they're off screen. So I'd like to make them no longer be alive, like no longer exist in the game once they go off screen. So I'm going to make a Boolean variable called alive. It's going to start off as true when the game begins. Maybe I'll put it with these ones. Bullets will be live when they are fired. And then I'm going to make it set to false if it goes off screen. So if x is less than 0, or x is greater than width, or y is less than 0, or y is greater than height, then we're going to set alive to false, which does nothing on its own. It turns a switch on and off. But we can check to see if that switch is turned on and off over here and remove it from bullet list. So basically we could get our bullet, and then we could check if it's alive. I can say, hey, if bullet B is dot alive equals true, then yippee-ki-yay, let's show it. Let's make it happen. Let's experience the beauty of that bullet. But if it's not, else, let's get rid of that bullet. Um, it would be bullet list dot remove I. And notice we don't do I++. It was a long story why that is. But the basic story, the Coles notes or Spark notes, I guess it is nowadays, is that when you remove something from the list list shifts forward, so the next thing becomes the current index. So you don't need to advance the index forward. So we have this, and now, although you won't really see a difference in the game running, you know, it definitely works. And it's a beauty. And also it will scale. So as the game goes on, it won't grind down as we have a million things in our list. We could just I don't know. I'll leave it as an exercise for you to do the print line and then bullet list.size and just verify for yourself that the bullet list is growing and shrinking. This growing and shrinking thing to do with lists is data management and it is key to making excellent games. So hey, check that out. Pretty nifty galifty, right? It's a thing. It's pretty fun, and I hope you guys enjoy it. There's some more work to do now. There's some more work. Zombie class. Zombies class is empty. What do you think zombies are gonna do? I don't really have an example of it, so I'm gonna leave it to you to discover the beauty of the zombie class. I expect some sort of a I'll make it green, most likely. So kind of little green circles to be coming from all the different corners of the screen. Corners, I shouldn't say corners, edges of the screen. So it might come from the top, the bottom, the left, or the right. And then they're going to go towards the player at a consistent speed. How do you run towards a player? Well, you know what? We got a bullet that goes towards a mouse pointer. This stuff right here. Of course, the zombie should update this. So like you wouldn't put it in the zombie's constructor. You'd want to put this stuff here in the act function of your zombie. And you'll have to think a little bit about how that math is going to translate. I think with a little bit of trial and error and some question asking, you'll be able to make some zombies. Making the zombies shootable will be extremely different. Or not extremely, but it'll be different and challenging. Because zombies will have to check against all the bullets in the game. So you probably won't get there today. But you probably can make a zombie show up on any given corner of or any given edge of the screen. And you might be able to make it, if nothing else, at least move. And hopefully get it to like track after the player. So you're like dodging and juking and whatever other terms video games have for not getting bitten by zombies. All right, folks, I hope you have a great day today, and I look forward to seeing you when I return, hopefully healthily. Bye.